In today's video, I want to highlight some updated news on PlayStation 5's SSD and that it can, quote, increase speed of the whole game and Zen 2 CPU will offer high fidelity. Deck 13's John Close gave us his details about the next-gen console's SSD and CPU and his overall thoughts. But before we get to next generation, there is, of course, a lot of compelling games still to be released on the PlayStation 4, and one of those that's coming very soon is Return of the Obra Dinn. It's an adventure game, and it has been dated for the PlayStation 4. It'll be coming October 18th, so I want to talk a little bit about that game. Also, PlayStation VR buffs out there. Golem will be launching physically on November 8th, digitally on November 12th. This game has been in development for quite a while, but now it's finally gonna see its official release. And lastly, Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion gets its first major title update to add the new volcanic region to the guiding lands. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first up, PlayStation 5 SSD can increase speed of the whole game, and specifically, Gaming Bolt spoke to Deck 13's John Close, who serves as creative director for the Surge 2, about the details of the PlayStation 5, and when asked about the PS5's SSD and how it could help improve game performance in the future, he noted, quote, "This is especially interesting for anything that you would stream into memory from the hard disk. That includes textures or geometry, and therefore it can increase the speed of the whole game, so of course it's very interesting for us." He also spoke a little bit about the Zen 2 CPU, and Close said that, quote, "Anything that gives us more processing performance will make us put more things on screen or to improve the frame rate. As we have a game where timing matters, it's great to offer 60 FPS on consoles while still having the high visual fidelity, with the PS5 reportedly offering up to 8K resolution, which I find very hard to believe. I mean, if we're talking 8K on some of the top tier games like the next God of War, and that game is running at 60 frames per second, I want you guys to temper your expectations a little bit. The jump that we saw from the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4 was around 720p to 1080p. 1080p become more consistent, and it's not like every game is even running at 1080p. Yes, you could look at things like the PlayStation 4 Pro pushing some games at 4K, but it's not even native 4K, and you're talking about going from 4K to 8K. That is a significant jump. However, it was noted that the solid-state drive is about 19 times faster than the PS4, and that really begs the question, with all of this high-end hardware being packed into the PS5, how expensive of a box is this gonna be? I keep going back to this point, but $400 was really the sweet spot for this generation, and it's a big reason why the PlayStation 4 beat the Xbox One. Xbox One was $500, yes, it came with Microsoft Connect, but who wanted Microsoft Connect? PlayStation 4, a base $400, and we could go into all of the other details about why the PS4 decimated the Xbox One early on, whether it be the price point, the lineup of exclusives, the butchered marketing that Microsoft employed on the Xbox One. There's a lot of reasons, but I think you can go back and point to the price as one of those main reasons. However, is the PS5 gonna be a $400 box, or is it gonna be a case of it's gonna be $500, or they offer us two different models, one that's a weaker $400 box, and then you have a $600 or $700 box? I think that would be the best idea, but nonetheless, that is just speculation from my standpoint, and you would think if a PS5 does launch with an SSD only, no hard drive to go along with it, you would want either a 500GB or ideally a 1TB solid-state drive, and at this point, 1TB solid-state drives are still relatively expensive. I think ideally most people would even want a 2TB SSD, given that games are just going to be getting bigger and bigger, and if we're limited to just a terabyte, a lot of people are going to be able to get by with a terabyte, but if games start being, you know, 100, 150, 200GB after updates and installs, 1TB could even become a little bit limiting. The PlayStation 5 is reportedly not releasing until later in 2020, probably sometime in the fall, October, November period, and it was noted that an official reveal could come in February of 2020, which makes a lot of sense because February of 2013 is when we saw the official reveal of the PlayStation 4. At that point, we just saw a bunch of games. We didn't really see the box until E3. I imagine that's what they're gonna do here. Who knows if Sony's even gonna have an E3 conference, given that they didn't this year. A lot of unknowns at this point, but a very exciting time to be a fan of PlayStation, being a fan of gaming in general, because there's so much going on, so whether you're a PC gamer, an Xbox gamer, a PlayStation gamer, or even a Nintendo fan, there's just so much going on in gaming, and it's a really exciting time. But that's next generation. We still have some games this generation to talk about, and one that I'm very excited for is to see Return of Obra Dinn come out on PlayStation 4, and it was confirmed that that'll be dropping on October 18th. Now, if you guys are unaware of what this game is, this was released on PC all the way back in October of 2018, and it was received incredibly well. On Metacritic, it has an 89, but if you look at the Steam user reviews, that paints a very positive picture. Overall, 4,975 user reviews, and 96% of that is positive. So that's a really good sign for Return of the Obra Dinn. The game employs a really cool, darker art style. It's story-rich. It's a single-player mystery detective title, and there's a lot lot of investment to be had with the game. It is $19.99 on Steam, and now it's coming to PlayStation 4 on October 18th. If you guys want a description, here it is. In 1802, the merchant ship Obra Dinn set out from London for the Orient with over 200 tons of trade goods. 6 months later, it hadn't met its rendezvous point at the Cape of Good Hope and was declared lost at sea. Early this morning of October 14th, 1807, the Obra Dinn drifted into port at Falmouth with damaged sails and no visible crew. As insurance investigator for the East India Company's London office dispatched immediately to Falmouth, find means to board the ship and prepare an assessment of damages. Return of Obra Dinn is a first-person mystery adventure based on exploration and logical deduction. Again, Return of the Obra Dinn will be hitting the PlayStation 4 on October 18th, so very excited about that, and hopefully it does drop at a similar $19.99 price point, because that would be really good. I think pricing it anything higher on the PlayStation 4 would be a really big misstep, so let's hope that that does stick. Next up, I do want to talk about another game that has been dated, and that is Golem. That's a PlayStation VR exclusive, and it'll be launching physically on November 8th. Interesting date, as this is a PS4 exclusive, and it's dropping the same day as Death Stranding, so kind of an interesting timeline on that. Digitally, it will be coming a little bit later on November 12th, so a little bit interesting as far as that's concerned. But Golem will be launching worldwide for PlayStation VR via the PlayStation Store on November 12th. A publisher Perp Games and developer Highwire Games announced. In North America, a physical edition will be released on or as close to November 8th as possible, so we'll see how that fluctuates and how that turns out. It was noted, built by a team of world-class industry veterans and described by Polygon as a super group of developers. Golem is one of the most eagerly anticipated games of the year, featuring music from the award-winning composer Marty O'Donnell, creator of the soundtrack for Halo and Destiny, innovative game design by Jamie Grasmeyer, the game designer on Halo and Destiny, and developed by a team instrumental in some of the best-loved games of all time. Golem has the world-class pedigree to be a flagship title for PlayStation VR. So yes, you have this incredibly star-studded cast working on the game, but it is for a PlayStation VR game, so that inherently is going to limit your audience and your user base that's going to try out the game, but it seems like they're very committed to it. It was noted that Golem has been in development for several years, as Highwire Games have spent time refining and polishing the experience to the highest possible standard. Now they're ready to share what they've been working on with the rest of the world. You can use your Golem to explore an enormous abandoned city, collecting treasure and artifacts while unraveling a deeper mystery and discovering the connection between the city and your family. Designed from the ground up for VR, the game also has an innovative free movement control scheme and an intense one-to-one melee combat that sees you feint, block, and counterattack your enemies. Again, Golem will be hitting physically close to November 8th stateside. In Europe, a physical edition will be coming November 8th and digitally to everyone on November 12th. And lastly, for all of you Monster Hunter buffs out there, Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion will be getting its first major title update to add new volcanic regions to the guiding lands, and new details have dropped on that update. This update will be dropping on October 10th, so still a week away, but it was noted in the first free update for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, hunters will be tasked with tangling with the fearsome Rajang in a new special assignment. Complete the quest given to you by the Admiral to receive a special Rajang Claws pendant. In addition, there's more to explore in the guiding lands as new volcanic region appears. Delve deep into this new region to obtain materials to further customize your weapons and armor. And that's not all. You'll now be able to hang out with other players in your room, use the new music player to change the music in your room, and show off your favorite equipment with the all-new equipment display. This update is due out on October 10th, so get excited for that, as that'll add more content to the entire Monster Hunter World experience. And that's gonna include this video. Again, the PlayStation 5 SSD can increase the speed of the whole game. That is coming from Deck 13's John Close, and it seems like he's very happy with the overall power of this CPU. The PS5, it goes without saying, is going to be considerably more powerful than the PS4, but just how much more powerful and how expensive is it going to be? I think a lot more clarity on that is going to come early next year. Return of the Obra Dinn, a fantastic PC exclusive, is coming to PlayStation 4 on October 18th. Was received really well on PC, so excited to see that come to PS4. Golem will be hitting the PlayStation 4 physically on November 8th, digitally on November 12th, and Monster Hunter World is getting a sizable expansion to Iceborne with its first major title update, adding a new volcanic region to the guiding land, so a lot of new content being added to that. Yes, Iceborne is the last expansion, but Capcom is going to remain committed to the experience and continue to add a lot of content, so great to see that out of them. They've made a ton of money out of Monster Hunter World. They could call it a day, they could move on to a new game or whatever the case may be, but they've stayed committed, they've added more content, and it's become one of the most engrossing games of this generation. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.